Volkswagen's history is marked by both failure and other periods of remarkable success. Founded during the Nazi era, the company was involved in making military vehicles and using forced labor. Despite this troubling past, Volkswagen has grown into a major force in the car industry, owning top brands like Bentley, Lamborghini, Bugatti, and Porsche. After World War II, Volkswagen was left in ruins. Its reputation was so damaged that even Ford rejected it when offered for free. The company seemed destined to just fade away. However, Volkswagen managed to rebuild itself and become one of the most successful companies in history. This documentary will cover Volkswagen's complicated past, starting with its beginnings in 1933, when Adolf Hitler's rise set the stage for its controversial history. Germany was in chaos at the time, struggling with the effects of World War I and the Great Depression. The economy was in ruins, with high inflation and many business failures. Out of 86 car manufacturers from the 1920s, only 12 survived. To address this crisis, a new plan was created to help the economy. An important part of this plan was to start producing cars. At that time, cars in Germany were a luxury because only a few manufacturers could make affordable ones due to limited resources. Most Germans used public transport, bicycles, or motorbikes, with only 1 in 50 owning a car. Inspired by Henry Ford's Model T, Hitler wanted something similar for Germany. He ordered the creation of modern highways, called Autobahns, and an affordable car under the KDF, Strength Through Joy program. However, the car's requirements seemed unrealistic. It needed to be small enough for a family of 5, fast enough to exceed 100 kilometers per hour, and cheap, costing less than 1,000 Reichsmarks. It also had to be very fuel efficient, using no more than 7 liters of fuel per 100 kilometers, and powerful enough for smooth driving on Autobahns. No German automaker could meet these demands until someone from Hitler's circle introduced him to Ferdinand Porsche, who had a similar idea. In 1933, Hitler met Ferdinand Porsche, a Czech engineer who had spent years designing high-performance cars. Porsche wanted to create a simple, affordable car for ordinary people. Despite pitching his ideas to various companies, he received no support. So, he developed the Porsche Type 12 in 1931, a lightweight car with a rear engine and rear-wheel drive, featuring a curved body for better aerodynamics. Although promising, Porsche struggled to get funding and built only 3 prototypes. Hitler was impressed with Porsche's design and agreed to work with him, especially since the car met some of his specifications. However, Porsche, being Czech, was considered inferior by the Nazis, who promoted racial superiority. Porsche had to renounce his nationality and quickly become a German citizen in 1934 with Nazi help to secure the KDF car contract. He then worked hard to develop a simple, cheap, air-cooled engine. Porsche chose a 4-cylinder engine with a capacity of under 1 liter, ideal for a reliable, fuel-efficient car. By 1936, he had completed 3 prototypes for the People's Car, 2 sedans, and a convertible. Tests showed good results. In 1937, Porsche established Volkswagen Work, meaning the People's Car Company. The result was the KDF wagon, later known as the Volkswagen Beetle. The Nazis showcased the car at the 1938 Berlin Motor Show, where it was well received by the public and car enthusiasts. Some people felt the car looked familiar. Porsche did not entirely create the Beetle's design. He used or possibly took ideas from other engineers. For example, the 1933 Standard Superior, designed by motor journalist Joseph Ganz, had similar features, including a tubular chassis, rear engine, and independent suspension. The Standard Superior was even advertised as the German people's car, and included the word Volkswagen in its campaign before the Volkswagen Company was founded. Production of the Standard Superior ended after 2 years, and several team members, including Ganz, were persecuted by the Nazis for being Jewish. Despite Ganz's role in the Beetle's concept, the Nazis used his Jewish status to diminish his influence in the auto industry. Another controversial example is the Czech company Tatra's V570 model, designed by Hans Ledwinka and Eric Hublaker in 1931, which had features similar to the Beetle, such as rear engines and a sleek design. Porsche and Ledwinka met regularly from 1933 onward, and Porsche admitted to occasionally looking over Ledwinka's work. When the Beetle was completed, Tatra was so outraged that it threatened legal action for copyright infringement. Porsche initially agreed to settle, but later decided to handle the issue himself. 15 months later, German tanks invaded Czechoslovakia, including Tatra's factory. The Nazis forced Tatra to stop making the Type 90 to avoid comparisons with the Beetle. The Beetle's design can be traced back to 1925, when 18-year-old Bella Bereni sketched a car chassis with features like a backbone chassis and a horizontally opposed engine, which appeared in Porsche's final designs years later. The most striking similarity is that Bereni's car body design closely resembled the Beetle's. The Beetle was not just one person's work, but the combined efforts of many skilled engineers. Both Porsche and Hitler knew this, but they ignored other contributions and eliminated competition or copyright threats. Even with the support of a dictator, mass production of the Beetle was a distant goal. The car was ready, but the massive factory and city planned were not yet funded. Hitler wanted a new city, strength through Joy City, to be a Nazi workers' paradise, similar to Detroit in America, with the latest technology and production methods. The city was expected to produce 1,500,000 cars annually by 1943, making it Europe's largest auto plant. To fund this, a savings scheme was created where Germans paid weekly installments of 5 Reichsmarks until reaching the car's cost of 990 Reichsmarks. The funds themselves would help build the factory city. At the time, German workers earned an average of 32 Reichsmarks per week, so this scheme put a strain on many families. Nonetheless, the plan worked as around 336,000 people participated, donating over 280 million Reichsmarks to fund the Volkswagen factory city. Unfortunately, the scheme failed for the German people. The factory, expected to produce 1,500,000 cars annually, only made a few hundred, which went to Nazi officials. Those who paid never received the car or their money back. Volkswagen's initial aim was to provide cars for Germans, but there was a hidden agenda. One requirement for the Volkswagen car was that its hood had to be strong enough for a machine gun. This secretly meant that the car could be used as a military vehicle at any time. Rather than making cars for ordinary people, Volkswagen was actually preparing a fleet of military vehicles for the Nazis. In 1938, high-ranking SS officers asked Porsche to create a lightweight vehicle for the German army that could handle tough conditions. Luckily for Porsche, he didn't have to start from scratch. He used parts from the Beetle for his design, and quickly built the Volkswagen Kübelwagen. The Kübelwagen was very useful in the invasion of Poland. After World War II started, Porsche developed 2 more military vehicles based on the Beetle: the Commander's Wagon for high-ranking Nazi officers, and the Schwimmwagen, an amphibious 4-wheel drive vehicle that could drive on both land and water. In 1940, Volkswagen City plant had become a war factory for the Nazis, stopping civilian car production and increasing military vehicle output. Despite early problems with resources and worker morale, Volkswagen started producing new models like the Beetle, Golf, and Jetta, which helped the company recover. After a major diesel emission scandal, Volkswagen continued to grow and become a top global car manufacturer. The company focused on electric vehicles to remain competitive. Despite past issues, Volkswagen has stayed strong internationally and remains a major player in the auto industry. Would Volkswagen face any setbacks in years to come? Well, it seems the answer is no, for now. But then anything could happen. Well, you know the saying, the higher the rise, the harder the fall.